Greetings. I want to give you something to think about. At present we are in a three-dimensional world. Now, if you imagine in your mind a circle. Now within that circle you are the center point. So picture within that circle that you've just created a triangle. Now look at those 3 points. Imagine you've got one behind you and one over to your left and one over to your right. You've got 3 angles, 3 ways of seeing things, 3 ways of looking back at the centre. Now repeat the process with 4 sides and 5 sides and 6 sides and so on. You can go up to 180 sides. Now picture on the outside of that circle you put in all 360 points. You don't have room to join those points, but you can join 2 points together, you can join 3 points together, you can make 180 sides, you can make a shape with 180 sides from that centre point of that circle. Now go to one of those 360 points. Now start drawing lines, get a ruler and start drawing a line between that point and every other point. What you will start to see is exactly the same as if you start in the centre point and you draw a line to all 360 points. And then when you start joining those points together, very soon that entire circle becomes just completely black. You see, everything comes from nothing and nothing is everything. So now when we think about dimensions, we're in 3 dimensions and collectively we have agreed to go to 5 dimensions. Well, my question is, how many dimensions are there? At present we have 3 dimensions. Things are black and white in a 2-dimensional world, but we're in 3 dimensions, so there's a very big grey area in between. What if we were to look at the thing in the other way? What if we were to look in a 2-dimensional view on everything? So everything is either black or white. Or better still, what if we look at this in a 1-dimensional way? Just see things in 1 dimension. It becomes a point. So is it the centre point or is it one of the 360 points? Because if everything comes out of nothing and nothing is everything, and the whole point of this is to go and see all 9 points and then go back to nothing again, the quickest route you can take is to see it in a 1-dimensional view instead of a 3-dimensional view. So I'm going to argue the case that maybe we should see things move to a 1 dimension. The alternative is we go out to say 12 dimensions and see things at all angles or all angles. But it's going to be a lot quicker to get to the centre point if we were to go the other way and go for 1 dimension, have a 1-dimensional view on things. But then would we have the experience? You see, the point of this is there is no wrong answer. There is a yes and no to everything. We have the choice of which way we want to go in everything. If we want to see the point, we can look at it from all angles, or we can just go to the centre point. This is what this life is all about. This is the purpose of life, to gain experience, to take on somewhere else, until we reach the outer edge of whatever it happens to be. That outer edge is whatever you want it to be. It is the limit of your imagination. And you can see from this how we're moving out of 3 dimensions, because we're talking about concept in the mind, which is another dimension completely. It doesn't have a physical being. It is creation in thought. We get the word thought from the Egyptian god Thoth, the god of knowledge. It doesn't matter if these things are actually matter as a flesh and blood thing that walked on this earth. It can be a concept, it can be in another dimension. That's not going to help us find a point. That is going to help sidetrack us looking at something, not looking at the point of something. That is the place we need to get to, always. So that, I hope, explains a lot more to people of what this is all about. Now, the reason I close my eyes when I talk in this way is because it makes it easier to channel information that I do not hold in my head, because I know nothing. Because thought is exactly the same thing. It's the same process. To know everything is to know nothing. To know nothing is to know everything, because I don't hold that information in my head. I'm just accessing and channeling the real cloud, not the one that Google tells you is the cloud that they want you to upload to. This is the real cloud of knowledge that comes through. It is opened by reading words and by logic and by understanding numbers and geometry. Once you put these pieces together, it unlocks doors and you are able to see so much more. It goes right down to the shape of the letters of the words that we speak. That is how far this whole process goes. This is why we have phonetics. It comes from the word Phoenician, because we are speaking a Phoenician Canaanite language of alphabet. This is why you have an alpha and an omega, and yet the alphabet is from A to Z or A to Z. But the opposite of the alpha, the all-far, is the omega, the complete circle. This is why it is important to see the beginning and the end, to see both sides, and remain in balance in the middle, because that is where you will find all the answers within, in the middle. It is within the centre of you, it is your heart. That is where all the answers are, and that is where you need to look. As I said on a live feed I made on Facebook, it is true in this three-dimensional sense when people say, no one is going to do it for you. That also applies to the spiritual world. I can't tell you what to do. I can guide you, but ultimately you have the choice of what you do with anything, and what you create from sound and the intent you put behind that creates and shapes the world around you. You are a creator in your own right. You are far more than flesh and blood. You are a three-in-one. You are past, present and future. It is best to present your presence in the present as a present, I think. I'm going to leave this video there because there's a lot in this one, but I've hopefully unlocked a few doors for people, because it is all empowered by understanding words and understanding numbers and the geometry of it all. There is a reason for everything. This thing that people think of as imagination is just locking in subconsciously to the cloud and information coming through to help. It can be in the form of song lyrics. This is where I get a lot of my information. I'll get a song come into my head. It may be a song I've heard many times before, but now I'm listening to the words in a very different way because I'm hearing the other meaning of the words. And this is just one of many ways that the information comes through. That song was not specifically written for me, but the message is a meaning, and I've been alerted to those words, to that sentence, to understand something. And this is how things work. It could be a book, it could be in a film, it could be anything. It doesn't matter because it is all matter. And yet it is nothing as well. Everything is nothing, and nothing is everything. You see, you're far more than you think you are. It's just understanding how things work and really knowing yourself, and then the answers will start to come through. But it's how we get there. There is the choice, and you have to make that choice of which route you want to take. It is a win-win situation whichever way you go. You either carry on gaining more experience, or you go back and start again and wipe the slate clean. Those are the two choices. Likewise, when you cross a road, you don't just look one way, you look both ways. And then you are able to cross to the other side, or to a higher or lower side, depending on how you want to look at this. Bearing in mind that everything is reversed, so up is down and down is really up. This is why you go within, which is going within yourself, which is downward, going to your heart. So you have to think very carefully what is being said to you when somebody says about ascending and going up, because really you want to be going down. It's just understanding that down is up and up is down, and this replicates through everything in this three-dimensional world. Everything is inversed. It is said when somebody is mad they have gone bats. Well, bats are the only ones that are the right way up. They see things the right way. The rest of us do not.